What is up, everyone? It's Taylor Bosky here, and I screwed up. All right, I'm not gonna lie, I screwed up big time. All because I neglected to do one thing that is super simple, but I had a lot of things on my plate, and I completely forgot about it. So this is how I about got the charger towed. Yeah. So what had happened was I work Saturdays until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Go in there 7 to 1, and then we get off work. So I don't really, if I ever want to go to a car show, I have to request that day off because they're always on Saturdays. That's how I was actually able to go to the last one I went to. But either way, I wasn't planning on going to this car show originally because of how far away it is. I work in Bedford, Indiana. I live in Mitchell, Indiana. So that was a couple of hours drive. And also that morning, I wasn't driving my Charger. I could have taken the Honda down there, but it would have taken me forever to get down there with just 100 horsepower, maybe, if that. So I decided to try and get there as quick as I could. So I came here from work, and I left about 1:45. I actually got there closer to about 2:20, which actually I could have been involved in that show, actually, because I think it actually stopped at 4. But I have a thing to where I don't carry cash on me, so I couldn't pay the entry fee for it. So unfortunately, this time I kind of just sat on the sidelines. I did go down there and actually go through some of the cars. There was a really, really nice blue 67 Charger. Now, the 66 to 67, it's not my favorite Charger, but it is definitely up there. It's my third favorite Charger. You have the second gen, third gen, and then the first gen, in my opinion. So yeah, went there. A lot of awesome stuff. I'll put some photos of it on this. But what happened was what happened after the show. So long story short, my grandparents were actually down there in the campground, which is actually right next to the show. Like literally, it was just right across the little trail right there, and then up the hill, and there's the show. So we actually had a pretty good seat for it. I didn't get any pictures of it though. But either way, the one thing that you have to remember, especially whenever you go out of town, is make sure you're legal. Now, granted, I've only had the Charger back for about a month now, after the timing chain, the water pump, and the oil pumps were fixed. And the one thing that I forgot to do up until then was renew the registration. Yeah. So I drove a couple hours from here on expired plates. Yeah. And I paid the price for it, sort of. So what had happened was we were about to leave. I think it was about 7 in the afternoon, I think. It was just going dark. And I noticed when we were sitting at the campground, you could actually see the entrance to the actual park where we were sitting at. And a Ford Interceptor police car came in and circled around, and I think because he passed my Charger, and you can see the plate on there, and I think he picked up that it was expired. He didn't stop, but he did slow down whenever he went by it. And annoyingly, about 15 minutes after he came in, we didn't see him leave. I thought he was in there visiting someone like we were. So apparently, I get my car turned around. I gave it a little bit whenever it left. Not enough to like squeal the tires or anything like that. I didn't do that. Mainly because as you were going out, there was two giant speed bumps right there. And the last thing I wanted to do was hit it real hard and break the front end of it. So yeah, we got out, and there was quite a twisting turning point right there. And I wasn't paying attention to realize that he came back around and was behind me the whole time. So as I left the park entrance, got onto the actual road, I gunned it a bit, spun it a little bit, but not enough to like cause like a real fuss or anything like that. But it was at that moment I looked behind me, and he was right there behind me, quite a bit for some time. And immediately I'm like, oh geez. So I'm just at that point just mostly glued to my rearview mirror and just like, is he gonna pull me over for doing that? Is he gonna pull me over for doing that? And we came up to the red light, which was about a quarter mile from the entrance. Still didn't turn his lights on. Turned right. We were heading to Salem to take that road all the way back to Mitchell. And it wasn't until we got through that stoplight, we turned right. My mom and dad were in front of me because I was following them back. Because at the time, I didn't know how to get back. And also my phone was running out of battery. And the one thing that I haven't fixed yet is the 12-volt outlets to charge your phone don't work in my car, which is a real shame. But luckily, they were there, and all I had to do was just follow them. That's all I had to do. So we turn on to this road that leads to Salem. And again, I made the turn, didn't turn the lights on until about 100 yards later when the red and blues come on. I'm like, oh, geez. So yeah, and we're driving down, and this is like a main street type way. You got the two lanes, one that way, one this way, and the big turn around the mid and the big turn section in the middle. The problem with that was there was no shoulder. You had like maybe this much of like a shoulder, and I'm like, if I stop here, I'm going to be in the middle of the lane. So I'm like, all right, fine. I pull over immediately. I went on a little bit to make sure I was clear of someone's driveway. And yeah, he comes up, the officer comes up, and the first thing I do immediately whenever I stop was turn the car off, put it in park. I just stopped there and I immediately reach for my wallet and get my license out. And the first thing I thought he was going to say was I think he was going to say, I thought he was going to say that I was being a bit reckless with how I came out of the entrance back there. But no, he's just like, no, the reason I pulled you over is because your license plate's expired. I'm like, and that's when the penny dropped for me. I'm like, oh. Because the one thing that I did know for driving without a registration is your car can be towed. Yeah, so I'm just sitting there, car shut off, and this was a hot day. And I mean, even in the afternoon, it was hot. I was already dripping in sweat. So I'm like, oh. So I'm like, yeah. And he asked me, is there a reason? I said, and I told him, I said, we recently did a bunch of work to. In fact, I had the actual documents for the repair in my center console right next to me, which luckily I didn't need at that point. But the one thing I did have was I had the old registration in the glove box still. So he asked me for my license, and I'm like, I don't have the registration, the new registration, but I do have the old one. So I gave that to him, and immediately I started to worry because this was taking quite a bit. Like there was probably a good 5 or 10 minutes of me just sitting there with him back in the car, going through something. And my mom and dad in front of me pulled into a church parking lot about 50 yards in front of me. And they turned around and were kind of watching the situation. And I'm talking to them. I'm not on the phone with them, but I'm texting them. Excuse me. And I'm asking Dad, I'm like, does it usually take this long? Because my dad's been a police officer for quite a while, so he knows when something's going on. And I asked him, I'm like, does this usually take this long? And he's like, no. I'm like, oh no. Immediately I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna get towed. And all I could think about was, please just don't tow the car. Just give me a ticket, just don't tow the car. Because if they towed it and I didn't have a registration for it, it was going to be A, expensive to get back, and B, this was a couple hours away. So yeah, my car would have been stuck in a different county. Well, I had to go back to we were still an hour away from Mitchell, from where we live. And immediately I'm like, oh no. So luckily, since I told him it hadn't been on the road for long, I think I said it was about a month, which was just a guesstimate, which was just a estimation of what I thought. It could have been way off for all I know. But either way, luckily he just gave me a citation, which was like, oh, thank goodness. And I probably looked very suspicious after that because whenever he did let me go, I pulled up, and I just pulled up into the freaking parking lot right next to Mom and Dad. And I give him the citation. I'm like, oh, geez. And at this point, I'm panicking because this isn't like speeding or something like that. This is something you can go to court for. And I'm just freaking out because I don't know what this is leading up to. It could just be like a normal ticket, you pay it, and it's done, or something else. Apparently, it was just the case of. But either way, a couple of days passed. Didn't drive for the rest of the weekend. Monday, just a couple of days ago, got it registered, got everything fixed, and luckily, this was since I've never gotten a ticket before or anything like that. They said as long as you submit your new registration to them, then they'll dismiss it. Which luckily that's the case. So Tuesday, and I don't know much about emailing and stuff like that, so I sent it to Mom, and she's really good at that. So got it paid, sent the email to my mom, and we submitted that, and luckily the ticket was dropped. But that really scared the crap out of me because this was my pride and joy of my Charger, and I about got it towed for my neglectance. So learn from me, always make sure that your cars are legal. So, yep, that's it. So make sure you guys stick around for more. I'm actually sitting in the seats that are for this truck, sitting right behind me. Excuse me. This is actually a bus seat because my grandpa, who originally built this truck, was a bus driver. And this is the driver's seat from one of the school buses. And that's also the passenger seat, which is also the driver's seat from a school bus. So yeah, I've got these out right now. I've got it, and you'll see why I've got these out in a video coming very soon. Soon, I promise. I know I've been fantasizing about the video for this C10, and I promise you, it is going to be the biggest project and the biggest video that I'll probably ever drop on here. But until then, make sure you guys click the notification bell, subscribe, and like this video, because I'm trying to hit 200 subscribers by the end of this year. And either way, I'll see you guys in the next one.